Hello class, this is Mr. Vargas again coming to you from room 325. Today I'm performing in front of a live studio audience. Woo! Yeah! So kids come to me all the time and say, Vargas, how do I know if I should buy this camera? Kids go to the swap meet, they go to the thrift store, they're at a pawn shop, they find a camera and they want to figure out, well, how do I know if I should buy this camera? So we're going to go through the steps of how you identify whether a camera is something that you should buy or not. Okay, so here we have a Pentax K1000, we have a Nikon FG, and we have a Canon AE1 program. When you find a camera at the swap meet, the first thing you should try to do is you should try to fire it. So hit the button. Does it fire? If it doesn't fire, maybe it just needs to be advanced so that you can fire it. Now this one fires. It fires. It fires. Now what you need to know is that some of these Nikon and Canon specifically, they will not fire without a battery. So if you're really hunting for cameras, you should be bringing batteries with you to the swap meet. A Pentax K1000, however, will fire without a battery. So first step, does it fire? It sounds pretty snappy. We're in business. Next step, look through the camera. Can I focus? Focus on something close. Focus on something far. Do I see any kind of crazy dust marks in there? If there's a little bit of dust, it should be okay. But if I see a lot of like a big black mark, a crack, then I know I have a problem, right? So I look through it and I focus. That's step 2. If you get that far, okay, you're getting pretty close. It might be a camera worth buying. The next thing you need to know is you need to look at the shutter speed dial, all right? And we need to open the camera. So I'm gonna open the camera. Pop the hood. It's like, you know, you're buying a car, you want to pop the hood, right? I open the camera, I look at it, I want to make sure that it looks pretty clean. There's little velvet, little kind of light seals here. I want to touch them and make sure that I don't get a bunch of gooey gunk on my fingers, because that means I need new light seals. And I want to inspect the shutter. This is the shutter, okay? I want to look at it and make sure that it looks normal, that it's not crumbled up or wrinkled or bent or anything like that. You see this one looks like it has little blades. You want to make sure the blades don't look all wrinkled up. Alright? And so the next thing I want to do is I want to fire it while it's open, and I want to try the different shutter speeds. So here's my shutter speed. So the first thing I do is I put it on number 1. That should be 1 second. I fire it, and the shutter should stay open for about 1 second. Then I'm going to go to 1000, which means 1/1000th of a second, and now it should be really fast and snappy. Alright, there we go. We're in business. Try one in the middle, like 30. Huh? I get different shutter speeds. With these Canons, you want to make sure you don't hear a weird squeak. This one's snappy. The Canons are like known for having what's called a Canon squeal. It'll kind of chirp and it'll slow your shutter speed. Now, I can fix it. It can be fixed, but it's just something that you might want to, you know, bargain the price down on because you need to do some repairs on it. The next thing you want to do is you want to take off the lens. So here on the Pentax, there's a little button here. You take off the lens. On the Canon, there's a button on the lens here. It's not on the camera, it's on the lens, so you can take off the lens. And then on the Nikon, there's a button on the button is on the body, and the Nikons go the opposite way. So you want to take them off. Now I want to inspect in here, and I want to make sure, like this one's missing the foam. It'll still work, but you want to have you know, the little foam intact. This one's also has some foam problems. But if you open it up and this one, you see the foam is completely intact, that's good. That's good. You want to look inside, make sure those mirrors aren't broken. And then what I do is I fire it with no lens. And I want to make sure that everything opens up and the light comes through. You see that right there? All right? That's what I want to do. So if I got all that going on, I'm in pretty good shape. All right? I got my shutter speeds. Next thing I want to do is I want to check the aperture. So I want to turn the aperture ring, and I want to make sure I can put all the different f-stops. Now on these manual cameras, the f-stops will open and close. On the Canons, I can move the f-stops, but the f-stop will not open and close. So what I have to do is I put the camera on here, I put the lens back on, I put on f22, which should be a tiny little opening. I fire it with the door open. I usually will put it on B so that I can hold it open. And then I should see a tiny little opening right there. That means that it is engaging the aperture. Then I want to go to f5.6. Now it should be about halfway open. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. And then I want to go to f1.8 on here. And then I want to make sure it gets fully open. If all of those things happen, this is a camera worth buying. I have apertures that work. I have a focus ring that focuses. I have shutter speeds that adjust. I have a camera that fires. All right? Then you just want to make sure that there's no breaks, no cracks, that it looks pretty good. If it passes the eye test where it looks like it's not all beat up, if it's a little dirty, that's okay, it can be clean. But you know, these are older models. Some of these are 40 years old, so we want to make sure that you don't see any rust or any kind of corrosion anywhere. So those are the things you look for. Does it fire? Do the shutter speeds adjust? Is the shutter intact in the back? Does it react at different speeds? Does it look relatively clean inside? Does it focus? And do the f-stops engage? If you do all of that, then you're in business. The final test is to see if the light meter works. So I can adjust the camera, I can put the ISO, and I can try to see if there's something inside that reacts to the light. I'll move it from something dark to something bright. Usually there's a needle or there's some numbers in there. If they're moving up and down, then you have a camera that also has a functioning light meter. A light meter isn't always necessary, but it does make things a lot easier. So there you have it, kids. If you're at the swap meet, if you're at the thrift store and you're looking for a camera to buy, go through this checklist of things that should work. If they do work, it's a camera worth buying. If something's off, you might still be able to buy it, but bad shutter speeds, a bad lens, not a good deal. The lens is more expensive sometimes than the body. So, sometimes though, if you get a really good deal, I'll buy a camera just to get the lens. Or I'll buy a camera just to get the body. But it depends what the price is. A camera like this, you get lucky, you might get it for 60 bucks. If you want to go buy one right now, it's going to cost you anywhere between $125 and $200. But I've seen kids find cameras at the thrift store for 10 bucks, $15. You can get lucky. You just have to be patient. All right, kids, there you have it. Please, if you have any questions, ask down below. Give a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, put the little bell on there so that if I put up a video, it gives you a notification that I made a new video. And we'll see you in class. Thank you.